everyone, my name is Kerry Daigle, and tonight is another version of the Key Punching University call that's done every Monday night at 5:50 p.m. Central Time, so you can get on early and visit with your friends and say hello. And they would generally start right at 6 o'clock to 6:01. So tonight's a very special night. We in the Juice Plus Company are really excited that Travis Garza has put together one of the most influential teams to help guide this company into another era of success. I'm really excited about that. And tonight, we always have had good people in marketing, but sometimes good helps, but when you can get great, then you really know you're on your way. Well, we've got the premier person that we could have brought into the Juice Plus Company, the lady that you're going to learn a lot more about. Many of you have not met her personally, but you're going to have a chance to do that tonight. So Gina, if you don't mind, I'll get started a little bit with, I've done a lot of research in who you are, because when you were hired, marketing just excites me. Marketing, promotions, all of that just really excites me quite a bit, because I've been promoting for 50 years and I'm only 51. So I kind of get an idea.
Started early.
But you've been listed as many experts in marketing as a growth strategist. Would you mind sharing a little bit? I know you're an innovator. You've been involved for about 25 years in branding and marketing and delivering information to the masses about different types of consumer products. What do you mean by growth strategist?
Well, I have been very fortunate in my career to have worked in many different places in many different countries across lots of different markets. I started my career in the UK, then I moved to Australia, then I moved to the US, and I've been kind of between New York and Miami. I've worked across lots of different industries, kind of beauty industries, food industry and wellness and nutrition. And I guess the one thing you always find wherever you go, whatever size of company, whatever country, whatever category, there's always problems to be fixed. There's always something that you can turn around. And I feel like one of the things that I always like to do when I go into a new role is to kind of figure out what's not working and how do you make it better. It's just kind of the philosophy of leaving something better than when you found it. I think I'm like this personally, to be honest, Kerry. I don't know about anybody else, but I can walk to the kitchen and I could be about to do something else. But if I see all these dishes in disarray, which is what I constantly feel right now in the summer holidays, I have to fix that first, and then I can get on with the next thing. And I think it's very similar to how I've kind of been in my career. How do you take situations that aren't working or in decline, figure out what that issue is, and then figure out strategies to get it into growth.
In talking to Travis Garza, our new CEO, I call him new, though he's less than a year, he's still new.
He just celebrated his 1-year anniversary. I think I saw on Jeff Roberti's memories, like June 22nd. I think he's 1 year and 2 or 3 days old now. But yeah, it feels still, he's done so much in such a short period of time.
Now, Travis made a statement to me in the conversation we had. He says, Kerry, he says, you got to meet Gina. She has taken companies that are multi-million-dollar companies and helped bring them into billion-dollar companies. So that's maybe a little pressure. It's a lot of pressure right here in the Juice Plus Company. But, and looking at your background and what you've done in the past as far as branding and positioning, and I like what you say about story selling, not storytelling. I like that terminology. Your ideas on marketing, innovation, concept creation, and so forth. What is it that makes you so excited about joining the Juice Plus Company? What brought you into us?
Well, I think, you have to have, in order to go from millions to billions, you have to have an incredible foundation. And that's what I saw when I looked at Juice Plus. Incredible product, in an exploding category. You know, this is something that we know that consumers want in a channel that is completely relevant. You know, it really excited me, the potential of what you could do here, because I could see that, you know, whilst we had this incredible product and incredible foundations, there's still so much we can do to get it into the hands of many people all around the world. So I think that's, you know, what's really exciting about this opportunity, because you don't always get all the, you know, kind of things aligning together, right? And it's a number of different things. You have to have incredible product. You have to have an environment where, you know, consumers are looking for this type of product. You have to have incredible people behind the brand, which we have with our partners and employees, and a hunger to make it turn around. And I think all of those things together, coming together at this time, makes it an incredible opportunity and a great, you know, place to join. I think I also love this channel. I've worked in network marketing for about 12 years, and I feel like you just said earlier, Kerry, marketing is amazing because it's so interesting, it's so dynamic. It's really about understanding people and what they want and translating that into something that's compelling and distinctive. And I think that, you know, it's just this unique opportunity where you can actually make a difference, not only in customers' lives, but in people's lives. So what's so inspiring about the network marketing is it really democratizes an earnings opportunity, regardless of where you've been and where you're going, you know, and that for me is really rewarding, to give that opportunity to other people rather than working in a consumer goods that goes just into a retailer. There's something very special about this. It also makes the marketing that you do quite emotional, which again is another tangent to marketing that's really different and rewarding, and just makes the regular marketing job so much better when you do it in this channel.
You made a comment the first time I met you, and I'll never forget the comment. And coming from a promotional background, I said, wow, that's so powerful, simple but powerful. And you said, you can have the greatest product in the world. You can also have the greatest company in the world. But if it's not marketed and not promoted, no one knows about it. And when you walked away, and I remember that line, I said, wow, this is our girl. This is phenomenal. Gina Ghura has now been with us about 100 days. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's 100 days.
So what have your observations been in the 100 days that you've been with us?
So it's been an amazing 100 days. I think the first thing I would say is that timing is everything. And I got such a unique opportunity joining when I did, because within 30 days I'd come to Indianapolis and I met you for the first time, Kerry. But I got to meet a lot of our leaders, you know, in our biggest market. So that was, you know, really interesting to be able to talk to partners and hear stories and hear testimonials about the product that goes beyond just what you read. And then 30 days after that, I was in Madrid. So I got to see our brand from a different point of view. I got to see it in Europe by talking to European partners and seeing their reaction to conference, convention, and our brand. And then I've actually just got back from Australia. So then I got to experience our brand in Australia. So that's like an incredible first 100 days, because it's almost like express, you know, onboarding for our brand globally. But the second thing I would say is that I had kind of underestimated what was here. You know, when I was interviewing for the role, you know, I always loved, as a marketer, I always loved to experience the brand as a consumer. So while I'm interviewing, you know, I go online and I Google Juice Plus, and I meet an experience on Google and Wikipedia. I then go onto our website and I really look at the products as if I'm a customer who's really looking to buy into what Juice Plus. I'm imagining a partner has spoken to me about this and I want to, you know, kind of understand it for myself. I go on the website and navigate all the pages. I create an informed decision about what product I want to buy. I buy it and it gets shipped to me. And I had, okay, I think I understand what the marketing challenge is when I come to Juice Plus. And then I get to Juice Plus and I start to speak to people like, people who work in the business, my team, the marketing team. I speak to partners at all these different events, and I'm like, wow, I really underestimated the power of this brand, because something that I didn't realize by doing my online research was just how amazing our product is. I hadn't really grasped the magnitude of how it had changed people's lives. So, I've heard so many stories since I've been here about how, people have been taking capsules and it literally has changed their life, changed their whole health trajectory, helped their whole, community and families. And I think that didn't come across to me in my own personal experience of navigating the brand, and the depth of the credibility that we have in terms of our clinical studies and how much richness they are. I kind of thought, oh, a lot of brands say that they're scientifically backed, but to truly understand that we spent $1 billion, we have all these different universities that have endorsed our product, that it's independent research, that it's almost telling us new and different things that our product does, is like almost having a unicorn. And then I think we have this amazing purpose, which again, I totally missed when I was doing my navigation, which is our Healthy Starts program. I mean, what a give back program to offer sponsorship of nutrition for every child, no questions asked, no criteria needed. I mean, that is really special when you have, a brand and a product that creates that kind of promise. So I think my first 100 days has been, really eye-opening, and I think really exciting, because I was walking in thinking, yeah, this is going to be a great, opportunity. And now I'm in it. I'm like, wow, it's even better than I would have imagined. So I think it's been a great 100 days, but now we've got to get to work. There's a lot that needs to be done.
Well, I know you were very ecstatic. I'm glad you brought that up. You were ecstatic about the research behind Juice Plus and then the children's program. And that's exciting for everyone that's listening in across the world. Here, next question is become real direct but simple. What is the plan now, Gina, for creating new marketing at Juice Plus?
So I think we have to do things, quickly, but with good thought and intention. So one of the biggest things that we're working on right now is the brand positioning. And what we really mean by that is, what does our brand stand for? What is the kind of identity, visual identity, messaging that we want to create for this brand that feels really competitive and distinctive and can really cut through on digital platforms. So we're really, knee deep into that. And I think that's really the foundation of everything. And from that, we will be developing a constant stream of content that we can continue to fuel on social for partners, consumers, just to make sure that we have something that can always drive engagement against this brand, because we live in a world where people are starving for information and credible nuggets as to why they should choose your product over anybody else's. I think the second thing that's really important for us in marketing is innovation. I think, I think innovation is so important, particularly where we have a responsibility, because we were a pioneer back in the day, like years ago when we developed capsules. So that gives us a responsibility to continue to drive innovation and breakthrough for nutrition for our customers and for our partners. And I think we saw, the impact of what Luminate did at Indianapolis. The response was amazing. We were sold out within 4 weeks. And we really showed that we know how to develop product. So how do we continue to drive that energy and make sure that we continue to create new products and really expand what consumers are looking for in their nutritional repertoire?
Wow. Okay. Gina, what is your vision for the brand and your vision for our future?
So I think that, building on everything that I said, we've just got an incredible opportunity to bring Juice Plus to the world, in as many hands as possible. We've got this incredible product that I would argue not many people know about yet. So how do we give, the right marketing, the right credentialing, the right assets. You know, we've talked about the clinical studies. How do we create content that is easy to understand? Really, I'm going to steal one of your words, punchy, and dynamic, so that it really cuts through, but it's also really digestible. So I'll take the clinical studies as an example, right? You know, that is something that is really interesting for someone who's really deep into nutrition, really understands the value of these clinical studies. But, you know, how do we also make it relevant to someone who doesn't understand that? How do we make it really pithy, digestible, small little videos that are really kind of, you know, easy to share, easy to drive, easy to engage with, so that people feel confident when they make their choices with Juice Plus?
Well, the next question may not be appropriate. I'm not sure if it is or not, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Go for
So, what's your favorite Juice Plus product, and why would that be your favorite?
Oh, that's like asking me which one is my favorite child. I have 3 children, just for those who don't know. So I could never choose between the 3 of them. So I don't have a favorite, but I am juice plussing from day to night, I think. So obviously, you know, I've been taking the capsules. And in the beginning, I was struggling to remember to take the capsules because it was a new habit. And I got this incredible tip from one of our partners who said, if you look at your feet, you will be able to take your capsules a lot easier. And I was like, what a bizarre little tip and trick. I'm telling you, it works. And so since then, I've been taking my 8 a day, and you know, adoption has been no issue. I do have an unhealthy addiction to the chewables. They sit at my desk and I sit in meetings and I consume far more than my daily dose requirement, but they really are addictive and delicious. And I also have this other, you know, thing that I do daily, but I swear by this, is I take our Dutch chocolate complete and I mix it with good culture cottage cheese. I'm very particular about the brand, being a marketeer, which cottage cheese I use. And I blend it, stick it in a mason jar, and I have it as my mid-afternoon sugar craving hit treat. I'm telling you, it is absolutely delicious. So I'm juice plussing day to night, really, these days. But yeah, hard to choose a favorite. I kind of need all of those things in my life. And I don't think I can come off either one of those things.
Well, you might have given everyone a new recipe that'll be utilized all across at least North America and those listening in Europe right now. Interesting.
We might have to do a reel to support this new complete chocolate mousse addiction that I have. And I just saw that Nancy is also addicted to chewables. I think this is a thing. They're just so delicious.
Wow, that's interesting. So, Gina, what is your personal philosophy on healthy living?
So for me, I think healthy living is a must. And I think there's never been so much awareness about healthy living, you know, talking about prevention, and being more conscious in how we live and how we consume. For me personally, I think healthy living is all about a holistic thing. It's not just about nutrition and, you know, what you put into your body. It's also about how you condition your body through a program of exercise and movement, however you choose to do that. And I think the third component for me is really about the mental and emotional. I think that, you know, it's important to look after ourselves mentally and emotionally to try and create moments of joy and happiness for us, because that, you know, we don't want stress to impact. So I try and kind of keep those 3 balls in the air when I think about my health, healthy living. But I was actually, you know, I actually got cancer when I was in my kind of mid-30s. And I think that was a bit of a wake-up call because, you know, as a young mum at that time, I had only had 2 of my kids. They were 5 and 3. I was running around and I wasn't paying attention to my own personal, you know, kind of wellness and, you know, nutrition. It was always about everybody else. And that was a real trigger for me to be like, okay, I need to be more conscious about how I look after myself and my body. And I was thankfully very lucky to come out of that diagnosis Well, and that was a good, I won't say how many years ago, but it really was a wake-up call on how you need to look after yourself for your children. And I think, I also have, my father who's not very well and is, on his third bout of cancer. And as a child, watching your parents suffer is really, really challenging. And I think that, I feel I have an obligation to live a healthier life so I don't put my kids through that, because I think we always feel more for the other person than, I'm sure we all feel it for ourselves as well, but it's hard to watch. So I think it's three things, and we should always pay attention to it. And it's so important, not just for yourself, but for the people around you.
Well, you did mention in our conversation, we had a conversation earlier this week, last week, and you said, Carrie, Juice Plus is in the process in the next 24 to 36 months of breaking records. We're going to blow this thing up. We're going to really make this thing happen. And so the partners that are involved now that pay attention to this, I know are going to benefit from it. I hope most of them listening in will benefit and move forward. But what can we expect from a marketing standpoint in Phoenix, Arizona for our next international conference?
Oh, so Phoenix is going to be exciting because we are working hard towards the first reveal of our brand positioning at Phoenix. So I can't tell you exactly what we're going to share, but you're going to get a really good sense of what, the brand is. We've done a ton of work with consumers. It's going to be everything I think that a partner needs as their basic toolkit to go out and recruit and talk about our product with pride, with the assets and tools that you've been asking for. I think, one of the things that's really important, Kerry, that I've been doing is really spending a lot of time with our partners. So, obviously I've been at the 3 events. I have been having lots of conversations with partners as well individually. I joined the founders calls, and we have an advisory group both in the US and also in EMEA. So we're working really closely with them to make sure that we know exactly what needs to be done for Phoenix. So I think it will be a really great opportunity to meet people there and to show them what we've been working on.
So in other words, get to Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you too much. It's but it's all here, and we're squirreling away, but it's really exciting. I think, because we have so many beautiful things already, an incredible product, the clinical studies, great stories, great testimonials, great evidence, such great history and legacy. There's so much that we're working with to really package this up so that it feels compelling, distinctive, disruptive. And that's what we'll be revealing on stage in Phoenix. And I'm doing it with my buddy, Stephen Millman. Him and I are like in cahoots together, because it really is a partnership, and as you said at the beginning of the call, it's a great combination with Stephen, because I kind of come with this fresh eyes and what about this? What about this? And Stephen comes with this incredible history, incredible, experience of what works and what's missing. And that kind of combination is, really working well. And I think it really helps when we kind of, have such a healthy respect for each other. We work really well together. And actually he's coming down to Florida on Friday. We've got the whole day like blocked out for a lot of the Phoenix prep. So it's going to be good.
What's the opportunity and the positiveness of having someone like Stephen, who's in charge of marketing in North America, Canada, US, and Mexico, and you working hand in hand, and sales and marketing working together as a team?
I mean, one cannot exist without the other, I think is the thing. We're kind of like a joint force. I really need to understand what happens at the coalface with partners, what's missing, and how we optimize to make it, meaningful, impactful, useful, and distinctive. And so I think Stephen and I almost speak daily. Even spoke to him yesterday for about an hour. So I think it's really important that, it's kind of a three-legged race really in everything that we do. So we have developed, for example, the one thing that we work off of is what we call a commercial calendar. So everything that we do is kind of in sync. And I think one of the opportunities that we recognize is that, for a lot of people who do our business, they don't do it full time. So how can we help them to be successful with it by keeping it really easy, really simple, unifying the messages? So a lot of what we've spoken about, is like, what is important for you, Stephen, right now in the month? What do we need the partners to be focusing on? Okay, how can I complement this from a marketing point of view? And then on the reverse side, it could be, Stephen, this is something that's really important. Like, for example, back to school is something that's happening in pop culture and social everywhere. How do we work together to really make sure Healthy Starts is really, the best that we've ever done this year? So, we work together in conjunction with building out this calendar with the view of, how do we drive maximum engagement? How do we drive maximum penetration? But really importantly, how do we simplify it for the partner so that we're coming with one message rather than Stephen saying, this is what I'm working on and this is what marketing's working on? How can we come together and make it more seamless and integrated and singular minded so that we're driving the right action? There's more work to be done on that, and we recognize that. But Stephen, even though it's only been, if I've been there 100 days, Paul Stephen's only really been in this role for 35. So we need that time to really, kind of synchronize that. But that's absolutely the intention, that we plan to work together in that way.
Now, one thing that you mentioned in every conversation that we've had was that the most important word that you've used over and over is the word simple. And with your experience, has that been something that actually helped you move and help a lot of these companies move from a few $1 million a year to many millions of dollars, and a couple to $1 billion? Simple. Would you mind defining that a little bit, why that's so important to you?
Oh, that's so critically important. I think it's really easy to overcomplicate anything if you really wanted to. But the world is already overcomplicated. If you're a partner or a customer, you are confronted with so many things that you have to navigate in life. As a brand, when you're competing against so many different things, and you're competing in channels that are completely cluttered. So if I just took social media, for example, and you're just scrolling through Instagram, and I want to catch your attention with a Juice Plus, post or reel or ad, you have to keep it really simple. And if it's too complicated, people disengage. So that's, the consumer. If it's, partners and they've got so many things to think about and we overcomplicate things, we're not going to help them to be successful. They have to be able to understand, digest, and act. And I think even for our teams internally, if I went to my teams and said, we've got to do 105 things and we need to do it in this way and it looks like spaghetti, no one's going to do anything. So you have to, I always try and take the big problem or the big spaghetti junction and I try and untangle it and think about, okay, what are the 1, 2, 3 things that we need to do? And sometimes you might have to do 9 things, but that's okay. You do it in phases and you do it in bite-sized pieces so that it's easy for people to navigate. Simplicity really just enables people to be successful. But sometimes it's hard to get to simple, but that's the gold standard and the goal for us.
Well, all the partners that are listening in, that's got to put a smile on your face, because simplicity is what helps us grow business very quickly. And to hear that from Gina, you can tell that she's got a huge amount of experience in marketing in the network marketing arena. And Gina, before we hang up, any final comments?
I just want to share one story that I experienced because it's fresh in my mind. And it was when I went to Australia, and I went to the Australian convention, and I was in the audience and we were recognizing and awarding the one NMD to an amazing partner called Deja. And she was this, amazing lady from New Zealand. And I won't share all of her story, but her story was a difficult one. And through adversity, she was able to shine. And with the worst possible circumstances and with all the headwinds against her, she was able to create a really successful business out of Juice Plus. And she got on stage, this beautiful woman, Deja, with her beautiful 5-year-old son who just looked adorable. And as she was getting awarded, as part of her tradition, she was wearing like a feathered cape, which she then tied on her son. And then some of her tribe had come over from New Zealand to Australia to obviously be at the convention. And they wanted to honor her at this point of recognition. And they performed the haka. And I don't know many of you who have watched a New Zealand rugby match, maybe not many of you, but traditionally, the New Zealand rugby team always performed the haka. Now, to see women perform the haka in honor of another woman was possibly one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. And I had the pleasure of sitting next to Jeff Roberti, and him and I jumped out of our seats and started recording this. It was truly amazing to see her honored in this way by her tribe with the emotion and force that these women brought to the haka. And that just made me feel like, wow, I've come home, because what I do can drive so much of this impact for other people. And I think it really brought it home for me, what we do here as a network marketing company with a product that can change people's lives in this way. It was really amazing. So with that, I would say I'm so happy to be here. I hope I can do you all proud. I'm really excited about what we can do together with this brand, and I'm looking forward to a very, very bright future.
Well, Gina, we want to thank you so much. Your first 100 days have been remarkable. We know what you're doing in the background, what you're preparing us for. And I know from your excitement, just from a couple of conversations, that Carrie, get everybody you can to Phoenix, Arizona. So
yes, please.
yeah.
Phoenix. I would love to meet you, and I would love for you to see what we've been working on.
So when you see Gina and you get to Australia, I'm not Australia, when you get to conference in Phoenix, be sure and tell her hello, give her a hug, because she's a major player in our success moving forward. And she and Stephen Millman together are going to be a phenomenal team. They're going to change the course of a lot of things in the Juice Plus company. And we want all of you to be part of that success. So Mickey, if you could stop the recording, I would appreciate it.